Welcome to Fill the Void podcast, where we discuss unhealthy human habits caused by the society of consumption. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fill the Void podcast. Today, my guest is Jeremy Dawson. How are you, Jeremy?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm good. Very good to see you, and thank you for being part of Fill the Void. My first question to you will be just like I wanted you to tell my listeners a little bit about your story and your background. How did you grow up, etc.?
I'll try not to go too long. So I was born, and so a lot of these details I think are important
Tell me all the details. Tell me all
yeah,
the
good,
details, and long it's better. Long answers are what I need. I
good.
want.
The creation of said voids comes across as we become little humans and begin to grow. These voids are created in the subconscious, and mine started really early. So I was born to a 15-year-old girl in Texas inside of an adoption agency. And my mom was just a young girl, and she was a groupie for this metal band, and she hooked up with the drummer, my biological dad.
Yeah.
And my biological grandmother's like, "You're having this kid, and you're not raising this kid because you're a child." So I got removed from her immediately from the hospital. So we have abandonment strike number one right there.
Yeah,
I'm not a,
15-year-old mom is very young.
yeah. But for me, the thing is like, I was taken from my mother. So the first trauma hit is my mother abandoned me right there
Yeah.
as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Without my permission, that happened. So I go into the
Exactly.
system, and eventually, and of course, I was born premature with lots of problems because my mom was partying,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know what she was doing. Who knows? But
Exactly.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay, kinda. And so I go into the system, and eventually a couple that physically could not have a child
Yeah.
adopted me. Two very good people that raised me the best way they could with what they had.
Yeah.
And I was raised in Texas and then later Oklahoma, very religious, very strict, conservative, Southern Baptist stuff. My dad was a pastor.
Mm.
My parents were
Interesting.
missionaries. So I went to church, not just Sunday, but Sunday, Wednesday, Monday, private Christian school.
Wow.
Um, my father lived in Israel for many, many, many years. So everything was so God and religion and I was never talked to about the birds and the bees or alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, women, um,
Yeah.
sex, nothing, none of that exists. We don't talk about it. It does not exist.
Only
So
conventional things. And even
yeah,
religion is a way to fill the void as well, maybe
correct.
sometimes,
And
right?
but for some people, it works,
Yeah.
quote, but a lot of times it's not okay. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was told what to listen to, what to wear, how to wear my hair. Like all these things had to be a certain way
Yeah.
in order for me to comply with this sort of white Christian American model with a fence and a dog and a cat and a wife and a job and a 401k. And we all just live happily ever after till we die and go to heaven and hang out with our grandparents.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Yeah.
what, and that you'd be surprised how many millions of people believe that horse shit. So
Yes. A
I
lot.
get that, I go through that, and
The
of course,
majority
was that
of the
yeah, a
people. The
lot, so many.
majority.
The
Yeah.
one good thing, many good things. So again, like I said, these two people, my mom and dad that raised me,
Yeah.
they were good people. They did the best they could with what they had. I don't hate
Exactly.
them. I don't have resentments against them.
Yeah.
I wish things were different, but don't we all? You know,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so one good thing they did is when I was 4 years old, we take piano lessons.
Yeah.
And as a child, I thought everybody was taking piano lessons because I'm 4, it's like
Yes.
you brush your teeth, you go to piano practice. And
Yeah.
um,
Exactly.
fortunately, I stuck with it till puberty when everybody can fuck off because I'm 15 and I know everything. I'm this punk rock kid with a mohawk, and I'm like, "Brr." But I had
Yeah.
11 years of classical piano training. I was
Yeah. I know.
touring, I was playing recitals on international level, doing like classical music. It was really, really nerdy, really cute, and really gratefully existed because it helped shape me as an artist so that whenever I discovered music that really felt something for me, I had the chops to get it out of my head quickly while
Yes.
my friends were struggling to learn how to play drums and guitar. I could already play,
Exactly.
So,
Yes. Exactly.
and, but the voids were there because, so growing up, as we all grow up in school and you're bullied and you're made fun of, and there's that fight to, become popular and become wanted and admired and appreciated. Um,
Exactly.
I because I was adopted and I felt like, I would walk into a gymnasium full of kids and everyone in the room was talking to each other and having a good time. And when I walk in that gym, all the lights shut off and one spotlight goes right on me. And everyone in the gym looks at me and says, "Who the fuck is this kid and why is he here?" That's what my brain would tell me was happening.
Oh my God, that's yeah, and you said it like to become popular, and we're trying to fit in to something.
Correct. And it's
So
more important than grades. It's more important than eating. It's more
yeah,
important than anything. When you're that young, you don't know. I'm not trying to get good grades so I can go to college. I just want you to like me, please.
yeah,
And I will do
exactly.
anything. I will lie. I will steal. I will cheat. I will laugh. I will cry. I will turn in my
Yes,
friends. I will do whatever it takes to get your approval. So my first addiction was your approval. I had to have it because I'm nothing. I don't like myself. I don't even know who my family is. I'm an outcast. I'm a reject, and I keep this Jesus shit forced down my throat. So I just want you to like me. I want to be cool.
yeah.
I want to have the right shoes. My parents
E-
would not buy me any of the designer stuff, of course, because they're
external approval
yeah.
is what you were
My
searching.
insides could only be shaped by your outsides. I had to have that
Exactly.
approval, and nobody's telling me otherwise, and I'm not learning anything, um, in church except to just pray about it.
Hmm.
Uh,
And that's not
you
gonna
just
solve anything.
no, solves nothing, but it makes it worse. So,
Yeah,
but I did have one thing, the piano. You can't fuck with me.
again.
Nobody could fuck with me. So every talent show, I would just
Yeah,
shred and win. And then the girls would like me. I was cool. I was popular with through that until puberty. And then I'm queer because
yeah,
only a gay person would play piano. You should be playing football, baseball,
exactly.
because you're a male. And I'm in the South, right? The
Hmm.
and it's like the 90s and racism is everywhere normal there. It's just
Yeah,
normal. And
yeah.
no, if you're gay, you hide it. You don't talk
And
about it.
how interesting that everything that we're talking about is like how society conditions us to think this way, to act everyone the same way, and when you're different, you're just struggling with so many different things.
Mhm. Yes, and the funny thing is everyone was struggling, but they don't wanna admit it, and they're afraid to admit it. What
Exactly.
would happen? Maybe your dad will
Exactly.
beat your ass if you admit it, you know?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
keep everything
Exactly.
inside. Everything in if your mind is this circle, right? Let's say your mind is a circle, and we're gonna
Yeah.
draw a line right across the circle, and on the bottom
Yeah.
of the circle is your subconscious, right? And up
Yeah.
here on the top half is your conscious.
Yeah.
When that man put his hand down my pants, when that person told me that I was ugly, when that teacher said, "You're a failure," Those things go into the subconscious mind and begin to wrap their claws into the sides, and they stay there. And as I grow
Exactly.
older, as I get older, as life becomes more real and I mature and I begin to get into other situations where I need to be a certain way, these things that happen to me and,
Yeah.
insert your own agenda when your story will begin to cross those lines from the subconscious,
Yes.
things I may not even
To the
remember
real world. Yeah.
into my
Yeah.
conscious mind. And when they get to my conscious mind, suddenly I can't handle I can't handle anything. And what am I going to do? I need to numb this feeling. This thing
Yes.
is living rent free. And what do? I go to the bar. I go
Yeah.
to the drug. I go to the sex. I go to the food. I go to the anger. I go to the lying. I go to the whatever. And these points of the subconscious that were never dealt with, never talked about as children.
Yes.
My parents never hugged me. My parents never this and that. Whatever your story is, as you
Mhm.
mature, they will come back and live rent free in your conscious mind, in your relationships with your partners, in your relationships with your best friends, at coworkers. Suddenly you're like, why do I keep cheating on my partner? Why do I keep dating toxic people? I seem to attract them. Well, yes, you are attracting
Yeah.
them because the toxicity that happened to you without your permission is now taking over the general dynamics of steering your life without your permission again. And the only there's you have to get the knowledge about this or you're going to become an alcoholic, you're going to become a
Exactly.
drug addict, a sex addict, you're going to die alone. And number 1, you're just going to be miserable. You may be doing
Yeah.
the very thing that you've always wanted to do. And you may have all the money in the world and you still spend several hours a day trying not to think about putting a fucking gun in your mouth or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
less than that, but you sit down and you're just depressed. "Oh, maybe I should go take Paxil or maybe I should go take Prozac." And, um, having,
Exactly how it
psychology and
is.
mental health drugs are so important, but, getting to the root in therapy, all the different kinds of therapy, getting to the root cause. Where
Yeah.
where are these items in my subconscious? What are they? Going through the
So
internal
important what
family.
you're saying.
Yeah, and, there's so much stuff out there now. I mean, there's the IFS system, the internal family system, where we are different parts, and our parts let's say that the part of me that was abused, that Jeremy is in exile. He's been in a cage since he was 13,
Yeah.
never spoken to again. And let me tell you something, if I lock your ass in a cage for 12 years, you're pissed. You're mad
Yeah.
because you're not
Exactly.
hurt and you're going to react. You're going to float up to the conscious mind and be like, this motherfucker forgot about me. So let's give him hell. You're going to make that bad
Yes,
decision, that
completely.
bad decision, that bad decision. And it's not a
That's how
free
it is.
pass. Yeah, it's not a free pass to be, a fuck boy and like hurt other people around you, but it's looking at it like I don't love myself. Therefore, how in the hell am I going to love you? It's not
Exactly.
as much
And
as I want
so,
to, I
yeah,
can't.
completely. I love your analogies. And like, how does the story go? So you were like, music was your power and was
Yeah.
like your ultimate power. And so, what did you do with that? And after like high school?
So after high school, I got in a bunch of punk bands. Well, I got in a bunch of punk bands like right before, 14, 15 world. And then I discovered rave culture and I dropped everything. I took off my punk shirts and I took my docks off and I put on the big jeans and I was out. I was like, this is where I belong. And I never looked back. And
Yeah.
I immediately I'm a I'm a psychotic overachiever, which is very classic addict behavior. That's what we do. We because we're not enough, we have to go 5 times harder to,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
only to get attention, but to be like, I have to succeed at this because I know I'm a failure, so I have to do this. So I would go so
Yeah.
hard. By 18, by 17, I'm managing a nightclub. By 18, I own my own nightclub. By 19, I own 2 nightclubs. By 20, I've thrown 75 raves in 4 states. I'm signed to a
Wow.
record label. I can't even buy a beer yet, and I've already done stuff that people have taken 10 years to do, and I'm in
Yeah.
Oklahoma doing all this shit.
Yeah.
Just going hard, jacked up on Dexedrine and Adderall and all kinds of, 'cause, I'm left-handed, hyperimposed ADHD, batshit traumatized, a loose cannon, but I'm not hurting anything. I'm just going hard. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed.
No,
I
you're
love the
incredible.
culture. I love the culture, the music, the fashion, the lights, and I wasn't using or drinking at all. I was the
Mhm.
sober guy. Um,
Yeah, cool.
which made it,
Cool.
it's really easy to be successful in something if you're not fucked up all the time.
Yes,
Logic there.
exactly.
And everything's rad, and I'm dating this girl, I fall in love with her, we get an apartment, but there's a lot of cute little raver girls out there. And,
Mhm.
I'm not able to I learned quickly that I'm not able to show up for my partner in a normal, healthy way because 'cause I'm not normal and healthy, and I didn't know that, and it became more and more difficult, and then pretty soon my relationship unravels, and I experienced heartbreak for the first time. Suddenly,
Right.
everything, the music, the power, I had 2 apartments, 2 cars, um, very small, a small bubble of fame, little bitty part of
Yeah.
America, but
Yeah.
it was for me, as a young person, it was fun and awesome. It was like a little
Yeah.
miniature success. But
Yeah.
when I got my heart broken, nothing mattered. I was numb. Your first heartbreak, you think the whole world's over because you were gonna marry
Yeah.
that person. And, but
You're
for
gonna
my
die.
correct, but my crazy ass actually thought I was gonna die. And,
Yeah.
then my friend was like, "Hey, you should meet up with us at the Fox and the Hound pub." And I had had drinks before, casually. I remember I bought a
Mhm.
six-pack when I turned 21 just to do it, and I drank half a beer. I was like, I just wasn't a drinker. Wasn't My
Yeah.
parents never took a drink in their life, not once. So, I discovered very quickly the magic elixir, 2.5 vodka cranberries. You are so beautiful now, fat guy who's a plumber next to you. Like, everything's
Yeah.
okay. Everything's
Yeah.
wonderful. Fuck her. She shouldn't have left me. I'm better than her. It was so cool. All my friends are so awesome. I have a great life. And then I get a third and a fourth and a fifth, and all of a sudden I'm throwing up in the toilet. I feel like shit, and I wake up and I can't fucking wait to do that again. Wow. That was cool. That was so cool. And and I started now I'm DJing all over the city at all the 21 bars now. 'Cause now I'm 21, I can play the clubs, and I'm getting paid pretty good money. I'm drinking, and then one day, one of the club owners gave me a bump of cocaine. Holy shit.
Smoke.
Here we go.
That's it.
Here we go. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, do not give me cocaine. Bad idea. Um, I ended up like I ended up hooking up with his wife. It was just I was unhinged 24/7, and everyone thought it was cute and funny and encouraged my behavior.
And yeah.
Why not? But we're all, and it was, and I'm like, woo, and it's all crazy. But very, very quickly, I stopped making music. I stopped playing my keyboards. I stopped throwing parties, and I just keep
Yeah.
DJing and then partying. It used to be at the club. That's when I would party.
E
Now it's like, "Oh, I'm hurting
exactly.
so bad on Monday. sorry, on Sunday, I go to the bar to take the hair off the dog or whatever, and now I'm drunk,
Mhm.
so I'll get more cocaine. And then I go back to the bar
Yeah.
because I'm high on cocaine. Now it's a Tuesday, and I'm supposed to meet this guy to talk about a deal, and I don't show up. I
Mhm.
make him an excuse. You can't say I have the flu 5 times in a row. You don't have the flu for a whole month. But
Yeah,
so I'm
exactly.
lying. I'm trying to
Yeah.
cover my tracks, and I'm and I'm just like, man, what's my problem? What's going on here? I just couldn't figure it out. It wasn't, when you're in your
And it's like a
disease,
cycle, right? It's like a cycle that never
yeah,
stops, and it's like
you're chasing that tail of the dragon. And you don't know it. You don't realize it. It's like when you see someone in a
yeah,
toxic relationship and it's like your best friend, you're shaking them like, "Hey, look, don't be with this person." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Love is blind and so
exactly.
is drinking. Alcohol is
Mhm.
a very, cunning, baffling, and powerful foe. So
Yeah.
somehow things start to get really bad. And my best friend in the whole world, this guy named Chad Petrie, who I'd been in a
Mhm.
band with my whole life. We were friends since we were little kids. He he invited me over to his house and he goes, "Hey man, you're gonna die if you keep partying like this."
He's a good friend. He's a good friend.
Yeah. And he goes, "Why don't we move to Los Angeles?" And I was like, "That's a great idea. Everything will change." And we did. We packed up everything.
And you
We
both moved.
we moved to LA. I lived on a couch and he lived in a closet. And very
Wow.
quickly we ran out of money. So I went from having multiple places to live, all the women, drugs, and alcohol I could ever want, and a
Yeah.
tiny little taste of what fame would feel like on a microscopic level in a little town,
Mm.
to I am
Mhm.
shit on the bottom of somebody's shoe. I don't know anybody. Ego crushed, and the thought of moving back constantly in my head, but I was like,
Yeah.
"No, no, no. I've got to try to do this." And that
Yeah.
fear, that healthy fear drove me to chill out. I'm 23
Yeah.
and just chilled out. And Chad and I worked really hard. The first thing we did is we scored Grand Theft Auto 3, which sold 50 million copies. We got signed to
Incredible.
a trance label. Pretty soon we're touring. Just again, just like in Oklahoma, here we go. Overachieve, overachieve, fight, fight, fight.
Again.
Chad's
Yeah.
the same way. We both love drinking and we love to obsess and workaholically fire. So
Yeah.
within no time, we have a number 1 record in Germany. Um, we were crushing it. This is a group called Slider. It's all trance,
Mhm.
all underground trance on vinyl. And
Wow.
and then
So
about 2002, trance took a dump and moved to a new genre called progressive, which is like Sasha John.
yeah.
It was, to us, we didn't like it. It was kind of boring. And my friend told me, "You need to go to Williamsburg." And I was like, "Williamsburg?" He's like, "Yeah, Brooklyn. You need to go see this new scene happening called Electroclash. You're gonna really like it." And I was like, "I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, but I knew people in New York, so let's go." So I just flew to New York for no reason with a backpack. And I went and I found out what this
Amazing.
Electroclash thing was. And I met like Larry T, Fisher Spooner, Avenue D, all these groups. And I was like, mind blown. Again, just like when I discovered rave culture, I discovered indie sleaze
Yeah.
electro clash culture. I flew back to LA and I grabbed Chad. I was like, "You're not gonna believe this." Wow. And he's like, "You're out of your mind. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy." And I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do this. And will you sing it?" He goes, "If you buy me a box of wine, I'll sing anything you want." That's literally what he said. So I started Shiny Toy Guns. I got in my studio that I couldn't even pay for, that a friend of the family was paying for because I didn't have $400 a month, and
yeah.
I started writing the album, and I would give Chad a box of wine, and he would sing and then throw up, and then I met Kara at a dance party. She was 18,
That's
and someone
incredible.
told me, yeah,
Yeah.
someone told me that she could sing. I was like, "Do you wanna sing?" She's like, "Sure." So she comes in and we start singing, um, and there everyone's like, "What, what is this thing you're working on?" I was like, "Just leave me alone. and I didn't know if it was gonna work. All I knew is that if it didn't, my ass is going back to Oklahoma. This has gotta
Yeah.
be it. I have to make this happen, and I made it happen. We made it happen together eventually, and we had a lot of success. We toured the world, couple of gold records, Grammy nomination, da 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 da. Um,
I
meanwhile,
love
in the
your
sea
band, Shiny Toy Guns. It's my favorite.
well, thank
I
you.
love it.
Meanwhile, I'm, now alcohol is what? Free. It's in my dressing room.
Yeah.
I get all the drink tickets. It's in the van. Then the van became an RV. Then the RV became a tour bus. The
Yeah.
partying started to ramp and ramp and ramp and ramp for me. And I'm under tremendous responsibility as the leader and founder of the band. I'm
Yeah.
running MySpace
Mhm.
profiles. Um, I'm doing interviews. Kara and I do a lot of them together. So I have to show up and be right sized and
Mhm.
level, clear headed. And I start to not do that every time. And
Yeah,
people start to
because
get
it's
mad at me.
impossible having addictive personality because I have it too. I have very addictive personality. It's impossible when you have everything served in a table, like to have self control. Like self
Yeah.
control
And
is
it's
if you don't
exactly what you
expose
asked.
yourself.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
whatever you want. I want 4 bottles of Jack, 3 bottles of vodka, orange juice, grapefruit juice, Diet Coke, and Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. They will go get it, and they will bring it to you. It is free. And you don't drink all that in
yeah,
one night. So what happens? The bus becomes a bar. After 2 weeks, there's enough alcohol in that bus to open a nightclub. It's under the sink,
yeah.
it's in the bunks. So,
And
oh,
how did
yeah,
you
it's
dealt with that? How did you dealt with that?
well, I did the best I could, which wasn't very much, very good. And then about in the middle of the heightened of our success, we're on tour in England. I remember I was in Germany, and I get a phone call, and it's my dad. My mom had cancer, but I was told that it was being treated, and things were moving along just fine. Don't worry, everything's cool. That actually was not happening. Like everything else in my life, I was hidden from the truth. And my dad calls me in the middle of the night and he goes, I need you to come home right now. It's time. I was like, what do you mean it's time? What time? So my mom was dying and he didn't tell me until like the time. So we had to shut down our European tour, cancel festivals. I flew home, Chad flew home. And I lost my mom, which is life. It's gonna happen to all of us, right?
Yeah,
But
all of us.
I'm
Yeah,
in my disease. I'm an alcoholic. So I didn't cry. I didn't deal with it. I didn't wanna touch that with your 10-foot pole. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." Not feeling anything. Crown Royal,
hmm
and all of a sudden, party boy Jeremy, who's the life of the party, last man standing, telling the jokes, got really quiet when he's drinking now. Now I'm drinking alone. Now I'm going in the basement and I'm locking the door. So my drinking continued to increase, but now it was from a different place. Now it's from
yeah,
I'm not just hiding. Now I'm not just afraid of you. Now I'm afraid of me. And things started to get dark. The drugs turned to
yeah.
harder drugs. And I began to unravel all of the work that I had put in with my
That you
band, with
had.
my life, with my personal relationships, with my family. All of that began people began to back away from me. People began to take the keys
Mm.
and the codes away from me because I could not be trusted. Things begin to change very rapidly for me. And I
And
don't
you
know
were
what was going on.
realizing.
No, I'm blaming you.
Ah, you
It's
you
your fault.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's my manager's fault. It's
exactly.
my lawyer's fault. It's my accountant's fault. Why do I not have any money?
Yeah.
I had X amount of dollars last year. Where'd all my money go? You must have fucked up. And no, it's all me. But I didn't realize. And it just can and that continued to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. Um, until finally one day, I don't know what happened. Oh, I was at a bar, of course, at 6 in
Yeah.
the morning called um uh Kitchen 24. It's in Hollywood. It's one
Mhm.
of the only places you can go sit down and get a drink at 6 in the morning. because it's a
Yeah, I was gonna
restaurant.
tell you because LA. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a brunch place. Of course, I'm the only motherfucker at the bar. Everyone else has their kids, and they just woke up. They just went to yoga. They're all fresh and shiny. My ass has on, Interpol sunglasses. My hair's sticking up in all directions. There's like blood on my shirt. Um, there's something in my pocket. I don't want to know what it is. And I'm just sitting there hating life, hurting really bad. And I know what I need. I know what I need. I need 4 drinks. It'll take the edge off of whatever the hell I put up my nose last night.
Like,
Avoid. And then I take those drinks and then I feel better. And I want to talk to you. I want to tell a joke to the bartender. And I was doing that again. One thing, because I had a condo on Sunset and Vine, which is catty corner to this little spot. And a buddy of mine who I used to hang from the rafters with, a film director, we called him Trash Can. He ate every drug in the world and he would
wow.
pee on you.
Yeah.
He was that guy, way beyond
That
me.
guy.
Yeah,
That
that guy.
guy.
I saw him with his girlfriend having breakfast, and I hadn't seen this guy in forever. And he's like, Jeremy? I was like, what's up? And I'm like, and we start talking. I'm like, dude, remember that one time in Rhode Island when dude, that was like last summer. That was so cool. And he goes, Jeremy, that was 3 years ago. And I was like, it was? He's like, yeah, dude, that was 3 years ago. Like 3 years of my life were a blackout. I don't even know what happened. And I was like, oh, damn. He goes, hey, man, I haven't had a drink in 3 years. I was like, oh,
Exactly.
congratulations.
You were like,
Yeah, I was
wow.
like, "What? You?" Like, I thought this guy was dead. In fact, the people he ran around with are dead, and somehow he wasn't dead. And
Wow.
he goes
Yeah.
and then I suddenly realized why he's not dead. He was
Mm-hmm.
sober. And I was like, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." How did and then it was all everything got uncomfortable because now I can't relate with this guy because that's all we talk about is drugs and alcohol and women. And, he, uh
Exactly.
he turns around, he goes, "Well, good to see you." He turns around to walk off, and I stopped him. I was like, "Hey, man, how in God's name are you sober?" And he's like, "What are you doing tomorrow at noon?" I was like, "Hanging out with you." He's like, "Cool, meet me here at this address." And I met him there, and I went with this guy, and that was January 19th, 2013. And I didn't pick up a drink or a drug for over 3.5 years, and I don't know why. It just
That's
the obsession
incredible.
was removed. Yeah, and I've had um, several research attempts after that where I thought, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. I'm not good. But the to get back to your void thing, the alcohol and
You're
drugs are not.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I
Okay.
talk about cocaine and vodka and sex and whatever, these things are not my problem. They are my solution. The problem is within me.
Yes.
And when I take those things and I use them in an abusive, toxic way, I don't think about me or you or the electric bill or who I texted
Exactly.
last night at 5 in the morning on a Monday. Everything is bliss. Everything is serene. Everything is peace. It's like I just meditated for 30 minutes after doing hot yoga for 7 hours. 3 cocktails. I
Exactly.
get that feeling instantly. It is my solution and it kept me alive. I would be dead had alcohol not saved my life, but it
Yeah.
turned
It is a
on me.
solution.
It's very much a solution until it's not. It turned on me and it
And
kicked my fucking
addict
ass.
exactly, it turned on you and then it just fucks you up. But so like you having an addictive personality, you can't be in balance with substances, right? You can't
No,
choose to like a Friday go out and drink, for example.
I cannot. Well, I
Because
can, but it will not end well. There's science behind this, and I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so I'm gonna boof this up a little bit. But
yeah,
I remember sitting in treatment. I'm talking to this woman, and she's like, "The frontal lobe of your brain. This is what says, don't touch the hot stove. The light is green. Turn on your turn signal. don't run over the child. You know, it's like it's directing the traffic of normal, natural logic. When you sit
Yeah.
down at a bar and your friend sits down at a bar and the alcohol, ethyl alcohol, the poison that cars use to drive themselves, by the way, that's what ethyl alcohol is,
Mhm.
gets into my bloodstream, the frontal lobe shuts off. It's over. Shuts off. And I have one choice before lights out. I got one choice: ordering that one drink. And when I have that one
Yeah,
drink, lights out.
exactly.
And I don't know what's gonna happen. I might go
100%.
home in 4 drinks. I might not go home for 4 weeks, and I have no control, no say so. I'm hogtied, duct taped in the back of an Uber, and the driver could do whatever he wants. And trust me, I don't think this has happened to you, but if you've ever had sex with a gorilla, I'm gonna let you know right now, you're not done until the gorilla's done. You don't get to tap out.
Yeah.
Right? And that gorilla,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
giant silverback that is king alcohol and drugs, is gonna take me for a fucking ride, and I can't even kick the door open, right? And
Yeah.
that's what happens. So,
Yeah.
I make one
That's what
choice, one
happens.
bad decision, one drink, and it's off to the fucking races, like horses on fire. It's insane.
No,
And
I
my
know
friend next to
you're
me,
incredible. You're incredible. Yes.
I
And
I 3 Advil, fuck their
yes.
whole this is
Mhm.
downtown.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
metaphorically, obviously, I'm
Yes.
acting out with a dog, but you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm in downtown
Of
LA doing
course.
things I shouldn't with people I shouldn't be around. I'm with lower companions, and the more I do it, the lower these companions get, until eventually I'm gonna end up under a
Mhm.
tarp in Skid Row.
Yeah.
That will be
Yeah.
where I
Yeah.
end up,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's where it doesn't
And how
start
do
well.
you yeah, it's I completely understand and I relate. How do you do it now if you feel tempted or if you are exposed? How do you manage yourself?
Okay, so this is the
What's your
the cool
advice for other people too?
this is the cool part. My advice to other people is to seek out other people you know that are sober and talk to them about what they do. Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
never tempted at all. Not at all. If I do
Mhm.
a daily regimented reprieve of the spiritual condition of mind, body, and soul every day. So that for me, what that looks like is I do a lot of reading on all things, not just recovery stuff. I read a book. I'm reading Rick Rubin's book right now. I'm reading this book on magic that this woman wrote that's
Mhm.
beautiful. I read psychology books on internal family systems and trauma-based psychology, not the hardcore medical ones from college, but the ones that are easy to understand so I can learn more about
Yeah.
this mind. I I meditated before I texted you. That's the 4th time I've
How
meditated
do you
today.
manage how do you
I
meditate?
use, ritual simple. I use the Insight timer app. It's free. You can
Okay.
choose 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, and every day it's a different one from a different human somewhere in the world. And I have a big Bluetooth speaker. I turn it on. I sit cross-legged and I disappear into the world that this guided meditation
Mhm.
takes me. Sometimes it's breathing. Sometimes it's a mantra. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes we go on a mountain and we see people on, the mountaintop ones where you see the trees grow and the
Yeah.
snow melt and pretty soon
Mhm.
the the pain I'm feeling, the does she want to be with me? Does she not? Am I gonna fail? Am I too old? Am I too whatever fear, because fear is my problem,
Yes.
not alcohol. Whatever fear has grown in my body since the last time I meditated, I bring that forward and I work to let it go, to let that get out of my fingers, out of my toes, out of my psyche, so that I can become once again as close to spiritually fit as I possibly can. When I do that, when I am attempting to live my life on spiritual terms, and I'm not talking about some religious bullshit. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
connectivity to the energy that is around us, whatever that is. You can call it a pack of smokes, you can call it God, you can call it
Yes.
universe, whatever you would like. Choose your own adventure. When I can become connected to something that's not me, because you don't want me driving, I need to
Yeah.
get in the back seat and allow the universe to put in front of me what I need. What I need, not what I want,
I love that.
what I
I love
need.
that.
And that doesn't mean, I can't have goals and amazing things in my life, but I need to get them in due time, in due process, not in extreme, right? So if I'm doing that
I
and
love it.
I'm putting the shopping cart back at the grocery store, I am not screaming at you for cutting me off. If I'm in New York, I'm gonna honk at you, but I'm not gonna scream
Yeah.
at you and flip you off and, I'm now I do that shit, but when I'm spiritually fit, I remember I pause. The first thing I wanna say
Yeah.
is probably wrong. My first thoughts are
Exactly.
wrong. Remember? Because my first drink sure as fuck is wrong, and that's my first thought. So I stop, maybe for 2 seconds, maybe for 2 minutes, and I think about it. How should I respond to this sideways ass email I got from this dude or girl or company that offended me and has hurt my ego and has made me feel less than? Before I start tearing a new hole in this individual, I pause. And if I can't come up with a solution, pick up the phone and I'll call you, I'll call Tori, I'll call a friend, I'll call somebody and be like, look what this motherfucker told me, and I'll send it, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, so I
Yeah.
wonder what happened to them today. I wonder if that person's daughter got in trouble at school or if their dog died 3 months ago and they're hurting. What happened to this individual? My room just turned purple, by the way. So,
Keep it verbal.
so yeah, think
That's
about
my
this
favorite
this
color.
individual that wrote me a scathing email that I believe is unnecessary and hurtful and under the belt. What's going on? Why would they do that? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And am I going to am if I'm upset because you sent me a bad email, you didn't make me upset. I made me upset. And
Exactly.
I'm gonna walk around with this resentment stewing and spinning, and I'm gonna start adding paragraphs to your email that you didn't even write. And I'm gonna dream up this rumination of how you hate me, and I'm gonna get even, and we're gonna have a screaming phone call. And then pretty soon, I'm like, I'm smoking 30 cigarettes, my brain's spinning out. And the whole thing is, you hurt your leg and you're in a bad mood. And for
Yeah.
1 second, you sent the email in a bad mood. You didn't even mean, and you've already forgotten about the email and your leg. And if I called you, you'd be like, hey,
Hmm.
what's going on? You're not even mad at me. But in my head, you have bombs under my car. And when I start the
Yeah.
engine, like in the movies, it's going to blow up
Yeah.
because my
Completely.
brain wants me to die. And so it's going to take any opportunity and shuffle the pieces around the board and make this giant episode. And to combat that,
Yes.
and what's that going to do is going to send me to the bar, right? To combat that, I meditate, bring it down. The whole world isn't about me. There's not a big ass sign at everybody's house that says, welcome to Jeremy Dawson's house, even though
You're
you
so
were here.
wise. You're so
Yeah.
wise. You're
So
so
I'm going to
wise.
stop and go, okay, this isn't about me. It's about her. And it's none of my
But
business, you know?
you've
Now
done so much self work that you are like, you have a lot of self awareness. That's why you're able to see all these things. And the problem is that people don't develop this awareness. So they are just blind. And therefore, it's very difficult to act that
yeah,
to save ourselves.
this
And
is
even more
true,
in the society that we live.
but you would be surprised how many days I hypocritically do not do all the very things I'm telling you, and I suffer, and I pay that price, because I forget. I just wanna
Yeah.
wake up and go live,
Yeah.
not this guy. I have to do that work, and that work isn't labor. It is not laborious
Labor.
for me to sit and be still and be quiet and listen to the rain falling on the roof and go, everything is where it is supposed to be when it was supposed to be there. It is not under, there is no deadlines, there is no time. Let's be quiet. And then we will start this day. Then we will get the coffee pot. Then we will make the list with peace. Like, I'm not going to change the world ever, and I'm not gonna do it today in one
Yeah,
day. That's what I
exactly.
wanna do. I wanna change the whole fucking world right now. But
Yes,
no, I can change me though. I can change my perception of you. I can change my perception of what you think about me because it's none of my
exactly.
business.
Yeah,
I am only upset because I made myself upset by letting what happened around me and at me get inside of me, which is something that is really difficult to do because it's really
very
easy.
difficult.
I'm very sensitive and I'm very jealous. I'm afraid everyone is going to take what I don't have and I'm never going to get what I want. And all of this is a lie. It's all a lie. But I have to tell myself
Thank
every
you.
day because I believe the
Yeah,
lie, you know?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
easy.
I
It's
get. I
not
see what
easy.
you're saying.
If
We
I
all
if
go through
you know,
these things. We all go through these things. And
yeah.
thank you for putting words to such wisdom for life. Like thank you because this helps like so many people in this world that are trapped in whatever cycle they are. And like really thank you for these incredible insights, Jeremy. You're
Oh,
such a
thank you
wise
for
person.
having me. Yeah, and I'm a
Oh,
I'm just a parrot.
I
Thank
love it. I love it.
thank the universe that somebody taught me this stuff because I had no design for living.
Yeah,
I didn't know my head from my butt. I didn't know which way was north, and I was terrified of you, of him, of her, of it.
yeah,
Terrified for no reason, for no reason. And today I
yeah.
don't have that fear as much as long as I do the work. I have to do the work,
Yeah, you have to do
you
the
know?
work. It's like that, and we all have to do it. And again, thank you, Jeremy. You're amazing. You're an amazing individual. Thank you for all this wisdom.
Thank you.